The following program is brought to you in living color.
Hi, and welcome to another edition of This Week in TV History. Kind of a special edition. We wanted to do one more before the end of the year, and I have helping me out today my beautiful wife, Donna Allen-Figueroa, and I decided it's time to watch a lot of TV for the end of the year. I have a list of things that I want to watch before the season is over. I asked you to make a list of stuff you want to watch before the season's over. I quickly want to mention you could hear both of us on TV Confidential, a radio talk show about television, which is hosted by our friend Ed Robertson. And just go below. We'll have a link. You'll know where it is. Also, you can read my blog, childhoodtelevision.blogspot.com. And we have this whole month of December, I have put together every day a different holiday-themed video. I try to think of it like an advent calendar for TV viewers. So if you have ideas of specials or cool stuff that I could add, the more the merrier, because I think a lot of us, that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be watching or even binging stuff this year.
I don't know. Isn't that what we've been doing since, I don't know, March?
Yeah, but I think there are things that people want to see before the season's over.
That's very true.
And I think there's even stuff people will watch between Christmas and New Year's.
Yes.
Yes. So even though, it might be after Christmas, they still want to see it before the season's over. And I do want to have let's call it an honorable mention, the Hallmark movies. And then it's Hallmark, Ion, Lifetime.
Oh, the Christmas romance movies.
Yes.
They're addictive.
That has been the Yule log
Yes.
this year. Instead of having the Yule log playing, it's just those things are just constantly on.
I'm enjoying seeing the Hallmark Repertory Company of actors. I'm playing a game, finding the same sets, but the stories are cute. They're romantic. They end happily. Okay, they all end happily. I am not spoiling anything for you.
And I think within the first 2 minutes who's going to wind up together.
Yes, and it's cute.
Yeah, and you said the same sets. I am sure I saw a house in one movie, and then in another movie they just reversed the image of the house, and I think I've seen the same kitchen 5 times, shot from multiple angles.
I think you've been watching more than I have.
I just have it on, and then it is kind of fun in a Mystery Science Theater 3000 sort of way. Yes, I like the comical best friend, who then is the comical coworker, who then will be they are.
It's fun, holiday viewing, and family friendly.
Yeah, people. Yes. If you're going to be at home, this is something
my mother loves them, and you can watch them with your kids.
Yeah, they have a special category here, so I wanted to just have a shout out to them. Okay, first, episodes of shows.
Okay.
The Christmas episodes or the holiday episodes. I have on my list the Flintstones episode, Christmas Flintstone.
That's a lot of fun, and I rarely saw that when I was a kid. But it's a lot of fun.
I saw it recently on MeTV. It looks like it was totally remastered. It looks beautiful.
Yes.
There was a TV special that was kind of a remake of this one, and it fell short. I love the idea that the reindeers look kind of like Dino with antlers, and I am one of those people. I love any episode from the 60s where in the last frame they break the fourth wall and wish the audience a Merry Christmas. The Addams Family did that. The Beverly Hillbillies did that. A lot of other shows. I think up to the Partridge Family did that.
Was that just something that was done during the time, the 60s and 70s? Maybe going back to the 50s?
Even the Dick Van Dyke Show kind of did it. When they did Alan Brady Presents.
That's one of mine.
Okay, that's one of yours.
That's one of my favorites.
Is that on your list?
That is on my list.
Yeah, okay, that's on your list. Alan Brady. But they kind of do it just with a theme song.
Yes.
When they come out, it's kind of like a little curtain call.
I remember the Dick Van Dyke Show. In my world, it is the best sitcom ever.
Yeah. The last shows, I think, to do that were Benson. Benson used to have a breaking of the fourth wall in the epilogue.
I do remember that.
They did that twice, and they came out of character and just wished everybody a Merry Christmas.
Okay. What other TV episodes?
Okay, there are 2 Happy Days episodes that are recording right now as we speak. One is called Guess Who's Coming to Christmas, which Fonzie spends Christmas with the Cunninghams. They want to have a nice old-fashioned Christmas, and Fonzie sends it up. It does kind of send the message to everyone. Not everybody has the same traditional Christmases. Some people are alone. And I think it's even more relevant now than it was when it was shot.
You know, I think you're right. Happy Days covered some topics that were out of the realm of, I think, typical sitcoms.
I think Happy Days was also of its time. They were able to kind of make a nod to the sitcoms that came before them, the Leave It to Beaver, The Father Knows Best, and you would have Tom Bosley, who was Howard Cunningham, sometimes complain that, Robert Young made it look so much easier. So they were able to kind of poke fun at the...
Happy Days was on for 10, 11 years. How many Christmas episodes?
4.
Amazing.
Now, the first one, they just ran that over and over again. And they just did a wraparound. So a couple of seasons later, they had Pat Morita, who was Arnold, who was invited to the Cunningham's party. He said, I don't want to go, I'm a bachelor. And then Fonzie said, well, let me tell you, I used to feel that way, and it would fade in. Okay. And then they did the same thing with Al Marinaro. They didn't do another Christmas episode until one that was called Christmas Time. And again, kind of more relevant maybe now than it was when it was done. Fonzie receives a package from his father.
Ooh.
And then, I don't want to, should I give away this? I mean,
no. Okay. No, I need to see it.
You need to see it. But it kind of addresses something, because Fonzie was abandoned by his parents, was raised by his grandmother. And it kind of reveals that his father leaving him was not his fault. His father, kind of establishes his father had the problem. Fonzie always thought that he had done something wrong. Okay. And so, again, I think very relative for the time. And I have 2 more I want to add. The All in the Family episode called The Draft Dodger.
Oh, wonderful.
Wonderful episode. They had done several Christmas episodes, but this one, it was the characters were established. You knew them for years and years and years. And it had the right amount of comedy and the right amount of drama.
That was a dramatic episode. Had to tell kids what draft dodgers were.
So, yeah.
But I think they'll catch on.
Yeah.
Excellent episode. That show, brilliantly acted, written, directed, trifecta. It is worth watching.
It aired on Christmas 1976, and then a month later, Jimmy Carter, newly inaugurated, did an executive order that, allowed the draft dodgers to come home. So it was very, very timely. And I just penciled this one in, and I bet that this could be on your list if you didn't think about it. An episode of Bewitched called Sisters at Heart.
I forgot about that one.
Yeah, I forgot about it just until a couple of minutes ago.
And that one was actually written by a high school English class?
Yeah, I think it was high school. I think it was Thomas Jefferson High School in Los Angeles.
And it's a very sweet story.
It's a very sweet story. Elizabeth Montgomery opens the show and gives credit where credit's due. And you have to sit through the closing credits because it will have all the students who contributed to the story credited as writers. So it is really cool for that. They did several Christmas episodes, one with Charles Lane, which I think a lot of people remember. Charles Lane was a character actor, made a career out of being the grumpy old guy.
If you don't know him, trust me, if you don't know his name, you know him. And he was born the grumpy old man.
He was born the grumpy old man. You see him in one scene in It's a Wonderful Life. Yes. He's the bill collector, but he usually plays the Scrooge-like character. Not just at Christmas time, all year round.
Did he do it on Petticoat Junction?
He did it on Petticoat Junction.
Did he do it on Andy Griffith? Or was
Yes. It wasn't Charles Lane. It wasn't Charles, but it was somebody from the same school. He did everywhere else. Yeah, but he did, the one where Santa kind of shows him. So this is like the only Christmas episode they did where Santa wasn't involved. Because usually it was like helping Santa out or Santa showing the meaning of Christmas. But that one was about friendship. And again, something that is probably more relevant now than when it was first done. But it was groundbreaking when it was done. All right. Episodes for you. What do you have?
I just have a couple. WKRP in Cincinnati. I was born and raised in Cincinnati. So that show just has a special place in my heart. The one where everybody is trying to get home.
Yeah, the one where and everyone feels bad for Jennifer.
because Jennifer is going to be alone on Christmas. And if you haven't seen it, I will stop right there.
Yeah, because they did two. They did one that was a takeoff of A Christmas Carol, which was Jennifer was the ghost of Christmas past, Venus was the ghost of Christmas present, and Johnny was the ghost of Christmas yet to come.
A lot of shows did that. Honorable mention would be The Odd Couple's take on A Christmas Carol.
A lot of them did it. I say a few did it well. But
Yeah.
But some people just felt that, and It's a Wonderful Life. They did send ups on that.
Okay.
Once in a while, A Gift from the Magi was also, I think, Fuel. Honeymooners did it. Several other episodes did it.
Okay, and of course, MASH episode.
And then they did
the one where Hawkeye, Santa Claus, coming into a war zone to administer aid.
And a very young William Katz in that episode. He's the one.
About that.
Yeah, he's the one who tells the wounded soldier, and you didn't believe there was a Santa Claus. I like the one where it's, because that's called Dear Dad, because it's a letter to his father.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was another one called Dear Sis, which was Father Mulcahy's letter to his sister, which also, it was nice because that character got recognition.
That's the one where the cast sings Dona Nobis Pacem at the end.
And I'm glad you said that because I can never remember the name of that song.
Give us peace.
Give us peace, yes. But it was a nice way to acknowledge that character and what he brought to the unit, because he really felt that he wasn't contributing anything to the greater good of what everybody was doing.
Okay.
All right.
Specials.
You had already talked about Charlie Brown.
Yes, there is a Charlie Brown Christmas and everything else.
Okay.
Hope you got to see it on network. I loved it on network. I think I've seen it twice then.
Okay. And I've already talked about Santa Claus is Coming to Town.
Yes.
Yeah. So, all right. So we'll put aside the Peanuts and the Rankin and Bass.
I have an animated one.
Which one?
1962, I believe. 61, 62. Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol. Talking about doing a Christmas Carol right. Mr. Magoo was a nearsighted man who did have a TV show for years, and who did the voice of Mr. Magoo?
It was Jim Backus.
Yes, it was. Who would later go on to be Mr. Howell on Gilligan's Island. And the thing I like about this Christmas Carol, they are very true to the story, but it is a play within the teleplay. You see Mr. Magoo going to the theater. We see Dickens' Christmas Carol, and then we see the cast taking their curtain call at the end. And it's very dark. I remember seeing it as a child, and it scared me to the point of nightmares. I saw it as an adult just a few years ago. I mean, I was surprised to see it. And I remember telling you, oh, this scared me. It scared me then. It's extremely dark, but very well done.
They did not play it for laughs. Most of the time when
it was a musical.
Yeah, there was a musical. That's true. I forgot.
Razzleberry dressing.
The Flintstones would later do their version of that, and again, it was a prehistoric Dickensian, but it was a play, and it kind of faded into the story. But most of the time, when it's done and it's played for laughs, there would be some sort of reference, or they would be making fun of the fact, Sanford and Son also did it.
Of course, yes.
Yeah,
they did.
and they did that. And speaking of breaking the fourth wall, it ended with Red Fox singing the Christmas song, Chestnuts Roasting on a Roasted.
The Christmas song.
And they all kind of face the camera and sing to the audience. Yeah, but that one, when they got into the story, it was true to the story. But the beginning and end, which is often cut when I've seen it on TV, that's where all the slapstick comes in. That's where Mr. Magoo trips over something. He never gets hurt. Somebody else is always. taking that. Okay, so specials, let's see. How the Grinch Stole Christmas. I saw that the other night. That was 1966. So this is the one that's narrated by Boris Karloff.
Yes.
So I still think this
And he also does the voice of the Grinch.
He's the voice of he's basically the only voice except for June Foray, who is Cindy Lou Who.
Little Cindy Lou Who was only 2.
So it was only 2, yes. So this is the standard, and it is true to the text of Dr. Seuss's book. And it was animated by Chuck Jones, who we know from his wealth of work. Mickey's Christmas Carol. Speaking of a version of the Christmas Carol where they are playing it for laughs.
Okay.
And An American Christmas Carol.
Ah.
Henry Winkler.
Yes. 1970.
1979.
Okay. I was about to say it wasn't 1980.
No, it was 1979 that he did that.
And that takes place during the Depression.
During the Depression era. And they acknowledge a Christmas, kind of like Scrooge with Bill Murray. You know, it's in the backdrop of doing a TV special. This one, he is actually reading the book. And all of this stuff is playing out. But a couple of little alterations to the story.
And I think that special underscores what a wonderful actor Henry Winkler truly is.
And he was offered that at the time where the Fonz was just, I mean, at its peak. And
I'm happy he did. A lot of actors wouldn't have done it because it would have gone against the type.
Yeah. He has a little video, I think, for a special that he did that was just, you know, like added feature. And he was scared to death of doing this. It took a lot of convincing, and he was scared to death to take on this role. And then he realized, I have the training to do this job.
Yes,
I can
he
do
did.
it.
He went
And
to
he
Emerson College in Boston.
Yes, he was a theater major.
Yes.
He was also, what is also amazing about him that wasn't really revealed until decades later, he was seriously dyslexic and really had trouble reading. Could not do table reads, could not do a lot, and always figured a way to joke around it. So
and
the fact
overcame it,
and now, you know, is a strong advocate for it. But this was at the time when nobody knew that he had this really bad problem. And yeah, it's beautiful to watch, and it has its own little twists and turns. I love the use of the radio.
Yes.
There's a radio that kind of helps push the story along. All right, so we got specials now. Movies, Christmas movies that air at this time of year, since we're not going to the movies, right? And now we have all sorts of platforms. So, I have, actually, I just penciled this one in. It's from 1964. Santa Claus Conquers the Martians. Like,
okay.
it is just bad. It's 1960s.
But it's so bad, it's
so
good.
bad. Mystery Science Theater 3000 did their spoof of it. It's kind of hard now to watch it without seeing the silhouette of Joel and the bots, you know, and
It's
just
a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun. It was just, and it's streaming somewhere.
Oh,
So I did find out it is streaming. More traditional stuff. Elf.
Lou Asner.
Ed Asner.
Lou Asner. Where am I? Lou Grant. Hey, they're synonymous.
We got to interview him, and you kept calling him Lou.
That's who I grew up with.
Yeah, I know. It's going to be Lou Grant and everything else he's ever done.
Yeah, but he, in my opinion, best on-screen Santa Claus. Not your typical Santa Claus. And he's wonderful.
I wonder, when somebody said, yeah, Santa Claus, Ed Asner, and I'm sure there were a dozen executives going,
What?
Huh? Lou Grant? What? So, but yeah, that is great to watch. And that's one of those that is constantly showing.
Yes.
Let's see. I mentioned Scrooge.
Yes, Bill Murray.
Bill Murray.
And
Alfred Woodard. And yeah, that one. And his brothers, two of his brothers are in that movie.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, his younger brother is played by three brothers. His older brother, Brian, is playing his father in the past.
Okay.
And then there's Michael and Joel.
Okay, I just didn't know that.
Yeah, I think it's Michael and Joel. One of them plays his younger brother in the movie. One is his younger brother's friend. So when they're in the present and his brother's having a party that he doesn't go to, the other party guest is the other Murray brother. So you have a lot of Murrays in that one. Also, Carol Kane gets so much credit for her performance as the Ghost of Christmas.
Past?
No, she's present.
She's present.
I don't think David Johansen, also known at that time, he was well known as Buster Poindexter, singer, does a wonderful rendition of Is That You, Santa Claus? I don't think he gets enough credit as the Ghost of Christmas Past, as the New York cab driver.
He's good.
He is good, and I always have to watch that moment where Karen Allen is trying to get to that building, and she hails a taxi. And, you know, can you get to whatever is it? Can you get me to the IBC building? And he pulls up with a cigar. What floor? You know, yeah. And then you have all the ghosts have cameos at the end, so it is cool. Let's see. It's a Wonderful Life.
That goes without saying.
It is in my queue, and I want to make a little mention. We have a friend, Brian Rohan, who is the ultimate authority on everything Jimmy Stewart. He had just done a special video. It's on YouTube with all the filming locations for It's a Wonderful Life. And so it covers all the different, they shot that all over Southern California. But it also features the homes that are in the movie that were Bailey Park. And those were brand new houses when they shot that movie. Huh. They were weeks old. And he gets to interview the current occupant of what was the Martini home. So he gets to talk to them. And yeah, people come over and they get photos there. But that shot all over different parts of Southern California. And Miracle on 34th Street, I should specify the 1947 version with Edmund Wynn, which is available in a couple of different platforms. It was on TV a couple of years ago, nonstop, sponsored by Macy's.
Okay.
Yeah,
of course.
But it is on the streaming platforms. I did find on YouTube, and I'm sure I can find it elsewhere, the 1973 version with Sebastian Cabinet and David Hartman.
I like that one.
You like that one?
But I mean, the original.
The original one, there is something
on
special. I mean, if I had my way, I would watch Miracle on 34th Street and then Elf. Because I think they do complement each other. They do also celebrate New York at Christmas time. And there's
no place like New York.
No place like New York at Christmas time. And I have one other one I added to my list. Muppets Christmas Carol. I love any interpretation of a Christmas Carol. Even the Hallmark movie ones. But I've seen like Western versions of A Christmas Carol. I've seen Patrick Stewart's version I watched the other night. I am also recording Scrooge with Albert Finney, which is the musical, which for a lot of people, that is it. And then everybody else falls, a distant second. But yeah, I go nuts over that.
And Vanessa Williams did a
She did a version. Susan Lucci did a version. Tom Arnold did a version where they stole from Back to the Future. They go to the Ghost of Christmas Past takes him to the past and is fed up with his job and leaves, so he's stuck in the past.
I need to see that.
It's around, and it looks like maybe they stole from Back to the Future or Hot Tub Time Machine. It kind of has that. So yeah, that's my movie list. Oh, Christmas Carol. They did cut a song out, which was restored if you see it this year.
Yes.
Which a lot of people have been talking about that online. Okay.
My turn?
Your turn for movies.
I only have a couple. I stepped into the Wayback Machine. 3.
Okay.
Okay. So start with A House Without a Christmas Tree, 1972. Mm-hmm. Jason Robards and Lisa Lucas. A story of young girl, about 12, and her father. She desperately wants a Christmas tree, and her dad is very bitter, does not want her to have one. And it's just a beautifully told story.
That was back in the days when you had these special. I think was it on CBS when it aired?
I believe. I'm not sure. I think the last time I saw it, I was a kid. I mean, it aired one night. When it first premiered, but I think I remember seeing it on a Saturday morning during the holidays when I was a kid. Didn't air that often, but it has always been one of my favorites.
Because I remember when you would see that in the TV Guide, when TV Guide was this big, that was always the one that had like the special close-up, that this was, watch with your children, telling parents, this is, a story that everybody in the family should all watch together.
Okay. Second, It Happened One Christmas,
which is a remake of
It's a Wonderful Life, stars Marlo Thomas. Mm-hmm. The angel was played by Cloris Leachman, Clara Oddbody. And Cloris Leachman, she's one of those actors who can do no wrong. And Orson Welles is in it.
He is Mr. Potter.
Very good.
Yeah.
And this is 1977, I believe.
I think you're right. I think 77. And it does use the same pool.
That was used in the Jimmy Stewart version.
And there's only one.
That's true.
Beverly Hills High School, there's only one. It's a landmark. It's in the documentary that our friend put together, but there's only one of those.
Is that pool still used today? Does it still have that feature?
Yes. In the documentary, it does. seems to open slower than it did in the
I'm
movie.
sure.
But that is, that's a one of a kind thing.
Okay. And my third one, I think is my favorite, The Homecoming.
Which is
the pilot of
The
Waltons
Waltons.
TV series. Again, set during the Depression, the family is waiting for their father to come home. Richard Thomas, in my opinion, one of the most underrated actors in this country, and Patricia Neal, and
she played the mom.
Yes, and the father. You think of it if you've never seen it.
It wasn't Ralph Waite.
It wasn't Ralph Waite. And I can't say anything. No spoilers.
Mm-hmm.
But different cast.
All the kids are the same.
Grandpa was played by Edgar Bergen, and another one of my favorite actors, Cleveland Little, is also in it. And it's just a lovely story. And this is the first time we are introduced to the Waltons on Walton's Mountain.
And that led to a series happen, which
ran like forever.
Yeah. Ellen Corby is Grandma.
Yes.
Ellen Corby is Grandma, which that's great.
Yeah, and all three of my shows, House Without a Christmas Tree, Homecoming, and It Happened One Christmas, I think are all available on YouTube. So you can, even though the old shows, they are thanks to the miracle of YouTube. Yeah. These shows will never go away, and I believe they're also available for purchase, and they do pop up every once in a while on television. You can find them every once in a while.
If they're not on television, you can find them on YouTube or one of the streaming services. An American Christmas Carol I found both on YouTube and on the streaming services.
And you can purchase them.
You can purchase them. Yeah, a lot of these are now finally available. For a long time, they were not.
Yes.
And I think the demand is such, and now there are more companies that will produce kind of this niche market stuff.
Remember the old days where if a special came on and you weren't home to see it, you missed it.
You missed it. That was it.
You'd have to wait a year if it came back the next year.
And there were some of the Rankin and Bass ones that showed, and then they got pulled.
I think most of them are back now.
Most of them are back. Little Drummer Boy for a while was not shown, and A Year Without a Santa Claus was not shown. And then eventually, like the Family Channel, before it was, Freeform, or they started showing them again, and people were going, well, what was the problem with it? They didn't see, there was some controversy. They would not be shown on network. It is
interesting watching these specials that you watched as a kid through adult eyes. I mean, I have said sometimes, how did they get away with that?
Yes. Oh, Rudolph. Santa Claus is a jerk.
Well, let's not go there. I love Santa. I love Santa.
Most of them are jerks. They're like really mean to Rudolph. But and when I say jerk, it's in lieu of another word. But yeah, so that is my entire list. Is there any other viewing that you have for this particular block of for the season?
Presently, I was very impressed with Netflix's Jingle Jangle,
which is great. I think
that
that will be a tradition.
Yes,
and it is beautifully
shot. It's a new story.
It's a new story. Visually, I don't want to say animated because that does not do it justice. Because you have live action, you do have some really cool, I don't know if you would call it like mechanical steampunk type animation, which is not the traditional claymation that we've seen, but flawless in many ways.
That'll be around for years to come.
Yeah, it will be around for years to come. I think it is just beautifully shot, beautifully acted. I am sure it's also going to get some recognition come Emmy time because it was that good. Anything else?
I think covered it all. And of course, when we sign off, I'll think of 20 more. But I think that's
I'm putting my list down. Yeah.
That's good to start with.
That's good to start with. So I tell you what, we probably are not thinking of something that is so obvious. Or somebody is going to say, well, gee, you should have added this one. So at the bottom of the screen with the comments, feel free to comment, add more to our list. Tell us what you thought. Like us, subscribe to us, all of that good stuff, all of those little buttons that you have down here. Take full advantage of those. Let us know what you think. I'm looking forward to having you back with me doing this in the new year.
Okay.
When we come up with other topics, when I'm not just talking about straight TV history. And hopefully you can hear us on TV Confidential, a radio talk show on television. Usually you, me, and Ed talk about this stuff at this point of the year. We've dedicated more shows to the present and how television is currently being operated. So it's kind of nice that we got to wrap up on this particular note.
Thankfully, these shows will remain the same.
They will remain the same, yeah. And I tell you what, since you're kind enough to participate with me, and the last time you did, I gave you the last word.
You did?
I did give you the last word. And how often do I give you the last word?
Never.
Never. 27 and a half years of marriage, and I... Okay, but whenever you are doing this with me, I always think it's important that I give you the last word, so you get the last word.
I'm going to keep it very simple. Have a safe and happy holiday. We will see you in 2021.
So this Christmas, we're spending it at home. We did want to share one quick memory from Christmas last year. We were in New York City at the famous Rockefeller Center Christmas tree. Here's the clip.
From the East Coast to the West Coast to Rockefeller Center, season's greetings from the Figueroas.
And have a wonderful 2020. Next time, I'll let you pick the clip.
Season's greetings.